Oh shit. Nepal.
Mm,
Apparently in Nepal, not only because of the time zones, but because of how they do the years, it's a different calendar. And so when you
okay.
go to Nepal, you're actually, if you convert it to your years in, so our 2021 to whatever year they're in, you're in the
Right.
future,
Ooh, that's fun.
right? I know, right? So if you want to go to Nepal, go. If you want to be in the future, go to Nepal.
Are they
So
years in the
we are
future or
here
just
on
like moments?
no, I think years in the future actually. It's not
That's
times in
amazing.
the future, but years in the future. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, so excuse my yawning. We are here, growing again. Welcome to our podcast. I've been rubbish at being consistent with our podcast because I was in holiday mode on Tuesday. My son had 2 weeks of school, 1 week of which we spent in London, and the second week which we spent in the East Midlands of England. And yeah, there's something about being in like a small town that just makes you forget your life.
You
It's
were in the
really like
Did you say the Wilfordshires, the Shires, the Sherwoods, the Sher,
it's Nottingham, not Nottinghamshire. So
Nottinghamshire? So you're in the
Nottinghamshire,
Shire,
Nottinghamshire.
in the Shire.
My they were in the Shires. My friend's Jamaican Canadian, and she says that sounds like a made up word and a made up place. And then the actual town that I went to in Nottinghamshire is
Uh,
called Worksop. And
work
she was
stop.
like, "What? Worksop?" And it's spelled how it sounds,
Oh yeah.
work and sop.
Mhm. Mhm.
And she was like, "No, no, no, you're just making this shit up. You're making these places up and you're sat in your house pretending." And I'm like, "No, look, it's on the map. It's there. It has
That's funny.
weather and
Some
everything. You can look it up."
somebody did just make these places up though. These sound funny.
Well, of course they did at some point. Yeah, for sure. At some
Right.
point, they were like, "What do we call this place?"
Work stop.
Workshop. Yeah, and I'm sure there's a story around it. But I
Yeah, the
don't know what the
workstopians.
story is.
The workstopians could
The
tell you that.
Workshopians. Yeah, 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 yeah. And it's really lovely. And they have really cute regional accents, and they call like I don't know. I guess you guys don't read. Well, maybe in the South they do it more than they do in the North
Mhm.
of the state. But we call
Mhm.
each other really like niceties, like sweetie and love and darling, and in
As a
workshop you
country,
get called yeah, in workshop you get called duck.
duck. You're a
Duck.
duck.
But you're right, duck.
That's
Thanks,
amazing.
duck. I don't know why, but everybody gets called duck. That's their
That's
sweet.
funny.
That's their sweet thing to call you with duck.
Nice.
And I
I've
remember
been
when I
in.
was,
Keep going.
you've been. No, I
Keep
just
going.
it just reminded me of the first time one of my cousins who grew up in New York came here,
Uh huh.
and it really just like she couldn't adapt to it because people would, especially men that you don't know, would open the door for you or they'd walk past you and go, "All right, love." and
Uh
and
huh.
"Oh, thank you, darling. Oh, you're right, sweetheart." And she was like, "I do not know these people. Like, you don't know these people. Why are they love and sweetheart and darling? Like, why is he calling you darling?" And I'm like, "It's just what we say."
Sounds like a nice place. Sounds like a
I
happy place.
know, right? It never occurred to me that in another culture it was a weird thing to do because we're so
Hmm.
used to it. Like I literally don't have to know someone for them to call me love.
Right. That's a word that's said on the street.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And then everyone has their own personalized one. So like my personalized one that I really like is dolls. So I'll call everybody dolls. You're right, dolls. Thank
Dolls,
you,
like
doll.
everybody's dolls, everybody's dolls
Yeah, thank
plural.
you, doll. Yeah.
That's funny. I'm trying to fix my phone.
So when
My
you
phone
come to
was.
London, you can figure out which kind of sweet name you want to call people, and adapt it,
Um,
take it home to Texas.
you know, uh, yeah, I'll work that out.
Yeah.
My camera is so much clearer. It was like I had grease on it or something.
Oh,
I
okay.
was like
Look at
that.
you
I
shining
was like
right
that.
now.
I was like that is a filter on me somehow, and I don't know what filter I have
It
on. And it was grease on the phone.
was the green filter. Actually, everything my
Something.
son touches has that kind of thing. Like I was cleaning today, and the monitor. He's got this massive monitor in
Hmm.
his room that he plays his PS4 on, and the marks on it were like, oh, how do you even see anything on this screen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally dirty. I can understand.
Totally. And all the dust and spider webs. And it's this time of year where all the creatures are coming inside. So there's as soon as I clean a spider web today, like there's another
Hmm.
one a couple days later, and I'm like fighting these spider
Hmm.
webs. And the men in the house don't care. It drives me crazy. I'm like, can you not see?
Do you know why I think they don't care?
Why?
Because
Because
they're
I
not
do.
afraid of the spiders. No, not just because they do, but just innately they're not afraid of the spider being there.
Right. I'm not
So they
afraid of the
don't.
spider being here. I just don't appreciate being here because it needs to be outside. It needs not to be inside.
There's, I, I agree with most of that for spiders. There's a couple that can like find good corners, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good spot for you to eat bugs that I can't get to. Yeah.
Oh no, I get to those. I literally have one of
There's a
those
couple.
fluffy things with
Yeah.
like the proper dusty, roly thing, and I stick my hand out and I'm up on one leg and I'm stretching out there to get it in that
There's
corner.
there's a couple spots that are behind doors or just those little spots that like weren't planned perfectly by engineering. You know what I mean? Like in between the fridge and the spot that has like the little gap.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like perfect spot for a spider. Like we can live
yeah.
in harmony. We can live in harmony if you choose that spot.
If you choose that spot. I
But
don't
if you
know. I
choose
might
like
get a
right over the
cleaning day.
toe,
If I get a super cleaning day where I'm getting that spot, spiders
yeah.
not
Well,
having
yeah.
it.
On the super cleaning day, everybody's fine. But it's
Yes.
like up in the garage corner. It's like, yeah, you're gonna get so many moths that
It's
just
like,
won't
yeah, that's
bother my
your spot.
camera. You know, little tiny.
Excellent.
They have a couple advantage spots that they can help me, but most of them,
No.
no. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's getting cold, so stuff's
Hmm.
starting to move in and
Mm.
starting to switch clothes. I had to wear a hat and scarf last week, and I was like, I don't
Are
like
you
this.
are you in pajamas?
No, I am in my amazing, I called it my house dress.
Oh, beautiful. This could be
Isn't
pajamas, but this is beautiful.
it?
This
So
is this
it's
is
my sign
muumuu.
of
This is almost a muumuu.
I am officially a grown Caribbean woman because I have a house dress.
You have a house dress.
I have a
That's
house
funny.
dress. And it's a certain age. You get to a certain age as a Caribbean woman where
Uh
you
huh.
know what? Clothes are
You
just
have
out of the question if I'm not leaving my house.
yes,
What I
yes.
need is a flowy house dress.
This this is in the Mister Rogers. aspect. This is the clothes you change into when you get to the house, but before
Yes,
pajamas.
exactly. That's exactly it. You hit the nail on the head. These are the clothes.
uh,
And when you're younger, you're just like, ugh, whatever.
yeah.
And then I justify it the more I go out too. Because like today I was on the bus and this young girl,
Uh
she's sitting across from me, but she had her feet on, it's like two seats,
huh.
face to face, and she had her
Uh huh.
feet up kind of quite casually. And my old woman head was going, do you know someone has to sit there? So at some point during the day,
Right.
someone's clean clothes is going to be sitting there underneath where your
On your
dirty
feet.
shoes were with God knows fucking what germs and nastiness from these here London streets. This is the noise in my head. These here London streets. And then they're going to take that mess home. And do you know what I do?
Yeah.
I take that mess off, put it in the laundry basket, and put on my house dress.
So it's COVID compliant.
Absolutely. Yes.
COVID compliant. It stays in a sterile zone in the bathroom or in the
Stays in
kitchen or
the
in
sterile
the
zone.
living
Doesn't
bedroom.
mix with the outdoorsy clothes. I
But
think I might
there must
implement.
be a moment. What's that?
No, go on. There must be a moment.
I was gonna say there must be a moment like if you dispose of the clothes in the hamper and
Uh,
then the house dress is in the other room, there must be a moment where you have like a naked dash to get to the house dress, but then it's good.
of course.
Sterile
And then
location to sterile location.
around the corner. Get to
Quick.
my house dress. Oh, I love it. I've now,
Nobody's
and the
watching.
problem is now, I only have one. And now I feel like I should have several. I think it's
Yes.
going to be a new
Oh, so
wardrobe staple.
you really arrived. Well, Santa is listening.
Uh, Totally arrived. I was like, I think we were talking about onesies. Yeah, we were. We were talking about onesies. I was like, no, I'm
Yeah.
going the other way. I'm going house dress. And they're
Nice,
pretty too.
nice,
Look, it's
nice.
got all this bling on it and stuff.
Yeah. I was like, wow, these are nice pajamas. It's Sunday, so you got to be comfortable. I am rocking a very one team one dream.
Oh,
Was
I
this
love that one. That's my
2019?
favorite one. I love that kind of,
Um,
what is that, like an LA sunset type
LA
picture, isn't it?
sunset, and I
Yeah.
haven't it really hasn't been worn because of the timing.
Yeah.
Um, because of being 19. Um, but it just didn't get worn, and this one is so perfect cotton. Like it must be
I love it.
it must be
Yeah, yeah.
something I can't quite see, but it must be something in addition to cotton to make it just
To make it
oh.
that soft.
This
Yeah. Yes.
this this
The
t-shirt is like
glorious,
pajamas.
glorious modern textiles, right?
More? See. Yes, modern
That's
textiles. I get to make coffee for
yeah.
mom. Mhm.
Oh, lovely. Lovely,
Yeah, there,
lovely.
there, there. Right here, right here. We got the
Got the
wonderful
coffee.
co-
Ah, you're making like
coffee
proper
coffee
coffee.
corner.
Good job.
Coffee corner right here.
I love the coffee corner. That's good.
You
That's
know
good.
what?
Did I ever tell you that's one of my favorite American expressions
Coffee?
that I love about the American language? No, good job.
Who is that what mom said in the background?
No, I said it popped into my head when you said you were making
Uh huh.
you showed the coffee machine and you were making it with like a real coffee machine. I was like, "Ha, good job,
Good job. Yes,
good
very
job."
good job.
I
Man,
love that. I love that.
speaking of good job, I texted to Law today, Mr. Always Do a Good Job, and I
Yay!
told him I told him I loved him, and he said he loved me too.
Yay!
I, man, I texted him in June and said, "Hey, man, we should get on the phone." And I don't know if we did. And then
Yeah.
it's November, so I was like, "Dude, if we didn't get on the phone in June, we better get on the phone now."
Yes, good
So
idea. So did you catch him on the phone?
he texted me back and said that would be fun. That's awesome. Love you too, bro. Um,
Yay.
uh, but I, he's been on my mind. There's been a bunch of people on my mind. I need to do
Mm.
like an international tour, even if it takes Zoom to make it all work. But
Yeah,
this is
definitely.
my
Definitely.
this
I
is, this
spoke
is
to
my
him.
kickoff. I'm kicking off a concert tour right here. The first London
Yay.
date.
That'd
um,
be cool.
I
I think
think
he said his
I
friends
think
are
it
coming to some, I think it's Coldplay early next year. They're coming to a
is that
Coldplay concert
band is
in
playing.
London.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like,
Uh,
wow, a concert. That sounds amazing. And it's gotten to that stage where people tell me they do things that was normal 2 years ago. And I'm like, wow,
like that's a whole new world.
wow, a concert. Right.
What is that? Oh, look at that. We have carrots. We have carrots. Do we have a potato? Good question. I don't think so.
What's going to happen with the carrots and potatoes?
Well, I don't think I have potatoes. Um, but I was just gonna make a quick. I've got some really bland chicken, so I'm making like a chicken soup or something because the chicken needed to be cooked more and made into palatable chicken.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Chicken soup's always good.
Chicken soup's great.
Tastes fantastic. I love it. Especially homemade chicken
Do
soup.
we,
Actually, for
do we have
years,
any
every
potatoes?
time,
Hmm.
and
I'm listening.
no, I was saying, for years, when I like would roast a whole chicken, I would then like whatever was left over of it would like boil it and make broth,
Hmm.
and then have that in my freezer for whenever I wanted to make chicken soup, and I just broth, there it is, and it'd be
Hmm.
like my base for a really yummy soup.
I like that. We just deboned a chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Deboned a chicken, and at the end,
Ah,
instead
that's
of
where
turning
the
it
chicken
into
soup is
broth,
happening.
instead of turning it into broth, I turn it into a pile of bones and I eat it like
And you want it?
just a little pile of bones.
And do what with the pile of bones? I didn't hear you.
I said I turn it into a pile of bones instead of all that stuff turning into broth.
Ah,
I eat it. I eat all the cartilage and stuff
phew, I
that
didn't
people
hear
turn into.
the. Ah, yes, I remember you're like this super efficient eater.
Very much
My
a
uncle
chicken.
was like that, but he was because he's very particular because he was on the spectrum and he used to do all of that with
Mm.
a knife and fork. He could
Wow.
completely clean the chicken with a knife and
I'm uh I'm impressed. That's
you should be.
that's quite
It was pretty it was
quite the
pretty cool to
endeavor.
watch. Yes,
That's
definitely the endeavor.
that's real. That's next level. Next level.
Yeah, I
Big
think
time.
it was his partly his, like early 70s, would it? I guess he was born in the late 60s, probably. Yes. So that
Nice.
kind of very English upbringing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And my
Post-war.
grandmother was always very kind of really particular about that stuff, about table manners, and you know, you
Uh-huh.
weren't allowed to. There were so many terms and conditions because she was so. It was all very
But
important
he
to her.
but he could like get it with
Yeah, yeah. Totally,
that's funny.
totally, yeah.
That's funny.
Totally. He was also the guy that you would give all your food to if you didn't want it, that you had to do it when grandma wasn't watching.
Uh-huh. And he would get it. He would eat it for you.
Yeah,
He he could finish it.
he could finish it before she came back.
That's funny. Um,
And
that is too funny.
definitely.
There was the guy. What was his name? Is his name Oscar on the European team? That when he
Yes.
came to the United States, they called him Scratch
Uh-huh. Oh, really?
because he
Oh,
would eat
yes, because he
everybody.
ate everything. Yes.
He could
Oscar
just keep
would
eating.
demolish everybody's leftovers. Yeah.
Then he was just like, no, no, like I'm not hungry. Okay, I can eat.
Yeah. Always, always. Now, I remember the first couple times we did events in Europe, and like our
Uh-huh.
food was awful. Like we'd get,
Uh-huh.
I don't think sometimes we'd even get meals. We'd just get these really bad sandwiches, or it was just really bad food.
Uh-huh.
And one night we got like warm pasta, and he like
Uh-huh.
he got on the radio and on WhatsApp at the same time, and was like
Uh-huh.
filming it. He was like, "Look, pasta! It's warm! It's pasta! It's pasta!" It wasn't even that good, but he was just so excited. I think everyone
Uh,
else was so excited because he was so excited about getting warm food. It was hilarious.
that's funny. That
Yeah.
then we I've never had a the food was mediocre at best
Mm.
because we got served like pizza and Chipotle and Jimmy John sandwiches, which are just like little sub sandwich,
Okay. Yeah.
um, little hoagie sandwich. Um,
Yeah.
but at this last event, when we were uh, eating out on the loading dock in the parking
Mhm.
lot, instead of having like catered meals or sandwiches or whatever uh, in the Secret Service agent hub, um,
Yeah.
serving at this view. We walked out to the back of the loading dock, and Sarah had trucks pulled up with pizza and Chipotle and like
Oh
folding tables
wow.
and like serving us in the parking area. Um, because for whatever reason the budget didn't have stuff in it for bringing the food inside, and the place was real particular with no outside food, COVID
Right.
regulations and
Yeah. Yeah.
new
Yeah.
things that you got to do if you want to have
Yeah. I
uh,
think you guys are lucky because there, I guess, because events have started, they're adapting really
hmm
quickly to what the new rules are, what they're allowed to do, and how. And I think it's a lot. That process is a lot slower here because we aren't
right,
doing events on the same scale. So that's cool.
right. It's different. I mean, the places that have events are going to have more strict guidelines, especially right now. So I know, I'm sure it
Mm.
was super expensive to get the food catered and brought in the way that the
Yeah.
event had to be set up. So
Yeah.
there was a limited amount of people that were catered, which are the like backstage people, pretty much,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that crew got catered food, but from what I understood, it was also mediocre, and there's only so much you can do with, there's light
Yeah.
staff
With all those
everywhere
restrictions.
to,
I saw an
you
amazing like little mini, those little kind of mini documentaries, and they were talking about the NBA teams when
hmm
they were at Disney, and they were in
Oh,
those
cool.
like secluded places in Disney, kind of playing games and whatever. And so they had these
Mhm.
special catering places, and the stuff that they went through to get there and to be there all the
Uh-huh.
time, and the amount of food they had to cook, and then the limited amount of people. So one of them was like this lady who had like a soul kitchen, and it was kind of like
Mhm.
it's a favorite of like one of the team, some of the players and stuff, because it's like their comfort food or whatever. So she makes all
Mhm.
the, but they come in every day like super early. There's only allowed to be two of them. They've got got
Wow.
to do their tests every day, blah blah blah, and it's just the sheer amount of work
Yeah.
that were like two women cooking for these men, like all these teams
Wow.
of men. So apparently they order it like the day before, they get the menu the day before, they order it,
That's
they get it in, and then they prepare it. And like, wow,
that's
so
nice.
much. So just that example of, and obviously it's
Yeah.
really good quality because it's NBA, right? But I can imagine if that's what they do for them, what are normal venues having to do in terms of food and
Right.
catering, and it would have been strict anyway, just in terms of health and safety, but now it's just next level.
Now the world is definitely on different terms.
Yeah.
Like I keep seeing all the people that are giving us all the new regulations. I keep seeing them and like they don't have a mask on, but everyone else has a mask on pictures. Like fuckers. Give me 1 second.
Yes. Yeah. They're
That
here
is,
giving you the regulations but not following them. What a concept.
yeah. It's maddening.
They must have all gone to the same
Ooh.
school.
Yeah, it's just whatever whatever nonsense is being gifted today. I could control the things I can control, and you know what? I'm getting really good at focusing on those things. No,
Yay. Good
like
job.
like
Yeah.
that I
And at
could
the
take
end of
this
the day,
little
life is too
moment.
short, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
It's too
I
short.
could
I
take
was
this
working with
moment with
a
you.
lady. Yeah. The lady
Go.
who I'm working with.
Hmm.
So I really wanted, I've been working with her 2 days a week, and I was on, last week was the fourth week. But
Oh,
on
fun.
the, yeah, but like on the third and fourth week, Leon was off school. So I was like, okay, I didn't want to leave her completely with not working with her, because I had this inclination that it would just she would just digress back
Unravel.
to, yeah. And oh
Hmm.
boy, was I right. So like
Oh
the third
man.
week wasn't too bad because I'd been there the week before. The
Uh
fourth
huh.
week, so last week, we were on holiday having a great time. I took 1 day out and went to work with her, and it was only like 4 or 5 hours or something. But those four
Uh
and
huh.
5 hours were like the longest 4 and 5 hours of my life. There was like, this woman was like, she went from trusting me, because we got to a place where she was trusting me to make the decisions about what could be
Uh
thrown
huh.
away. Like, she trusted my judgment, and that was
Right.
gone out the fucking window. It was like every bit of paper, every old magazine, every, like, her husband,
Uh.
you know, God rest his soul,
Yeah.
saved everything, Jonathan. Like, it's
Yeah.
really strange to look inside someone else's world.
Yeah.
Like, he was
And be
a
that different.
geography teacher, I think, and he
Uh
has
huh.
lesson plans from the 80s,
Oh. He kept everything.
you
Yeah.
know, and they're all in like individual, like, plastic sleeves. So I have to take
Uh
out all
huh.
the plastic sleeves. And as I'm doing that, she's like, "What are you throwing away? Why is that?" Da, da, da?" And then there's magazines, and like he used to get all these
Oh.
subscriptions. and she wanted to go into
Uh-huh.
these subscriptions. These could be collectibles, or somebody will be interested in them. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Somebody could be interested in them, but do you have the time or energy to
Right.
go and find out who these people are, where they are, um, find them, see if they want them, how much they want for them, and then send it to them and make that transaction happen? Or do you have more money still to pay me to do all that? And honestly, even with the money you would pay me, I won't do that. I don't want to spend my time doing that. So there's stuff that are obviously collectibles because he kept them really
Yeah.
well, and they're like really good kind of graphic novel kind of things. And I
Mm-hmm.
boxed those up
Like,
and I'm gonna figure out where to sell those. But there's things like,
yeah.
your fucking OK magazine from 1978.
Is that like People?
Yes.
That's like Gossip magazine.
Yeah, like your People magazine from
Uh-huh.
1978 for like however
Uh-huh.
many years he got the subscription for. And there's like boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of them, you know. And by the end of
Paid
that
good money for
very
those.
long 5 hours, Leon came because I paid him to work for an hour just to help me throw out all the
Mm.
recycling and the trash.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself was like a whole thing. And yeah, it was just
Wow.
so much energy. And I realized, and that it was really difficult because I took it with me when I went home too. And I was like, rah, 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 like the whole.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we
But
talked
like a
about.
good hour, a good hour or 2 hours after I've left this woman's space, I was still ranting about it. It was so awful. It's so,
And it
so
was really
awful. And
because
huh?
I was just gonna say it's really because you were dealing with the like digression of her momentum.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I
Yeah.
just really didn't appreciate it. Like in my mind, it was like, we already did this.
Ah, yeah. And so I mean you can see how sick she is in the
Oh, absolutely. Really,
in the face
really
of
not in
wanting
a
to
good
hold on
way.
to it all.
Totally. And
I,
she's
I was
like,
cleaning. Go ahead.
no, just like it
So,
affects her, Jonathan, like mentally, physically,
yeah,
emotionally, all of it. It's all manifested in every way you can, shape and form you can possibly think. She just lives in this constant,
this stuff.
it's not even stress, just it's like anxiety, and she's just troubled
Yeah.
by the whole situation like all the fucking time. And I can see
And if
how
she could,
exhausting it is.
yeah,
Yeah. And we're still in the one room, by the way.
the one room of the one house, and she has two to
Yes.
go through.
One
Wow, you're in
room
the same
with
room
the,
for months.
yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
It's
job
just
security,
crazy. Huh?
job security. If she's gonna pay you
Right?
month
Yeah,
by
the
month
thing
to
is,
go to your
the
room.
way I am, I'm just like, I really want to get her to a place where, she gets her home back because she wants to live there again. It was like the family home. They
Mhm.
bought it in, I think she said they bought it in 1974 or something. Her two children grew up
Wow.
there. So there's like stuff from their childhood, and they're both in their 40s. Like her youngest son just turned
Hmm.
40, and her daughter is a year older
Wow.
than me. You know what I mean? And she's finding this stuff from their
Hmm.
childhood. And then wants to ask them about it. And then I was like, um, are these the same children that told you to get a trash skip and just throw it all out? Are these the same children
Yeah.
that you're wanting to ask if they want their primary school
They're
poetry? Are you
they're
kidding me?
Inheritance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy. So it's like, and then my friend Caroline made this beautiful point that just unraveled it all for me and got me to get over it. She said, "We are meaning making machines."
Mm, good one.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah.
I'm a coffee making machine. Hey,
Yeah.
look at that! Look at that! Woohoo!
And
Like a commercial.
woo, fresh
Woohoo!
coffee.
Um, yeah, I'm a chicken soup coffee making machine. See,
Yay.
we do that so we apply meaning to things that don't have meaning, and that's the human condition, like said simply.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? It really is. It
Hmm.
really is.
And
It really
like
is.
the root of the Buddhism uh, teachings, or that life is pain. You know, the Buddhist teachings start from life is pain. So the
Mm.
enduring of the pain is the process. The path to enlightenment is um, overcoming and enduring and learning from this pain. Like
Oh
is
wow.
how I have it. And I'm not a scholar or a Buddhist monk
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Christian um, guru of any type. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I know what I know what I know, but I also like I know what resonates with me, and I'll pull anything that uh, works from all of these sources of what's probably like different explanations of a more divine energy than I can explain, right? But
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll pull from everything. But that like when I read the most stuff, and I read a book about a journey of a monk or a couple monks from like very southern California all the way to northern like Oregon. So
Mm-hmm.
they had to go like I don't know 1,500 miles, or you know maybe it was even like 1,800 miles. It was a long way.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
but from like basically the entire coast of uh, the United States without going into Washington State. And but you have all that going on, and it was a book of letters between the people that were on the road traveling and the people that were at the shrine that they were going to, but they were
Mm-hmm.
taking 3 steps and bowing, and forehead to the earth, and then standing up and taking 3 steps and bowing. And so they had to walk the whole way bowing every 3 steps, and
Oh wow.
they had to make it without any money. Like
Oh
they had to make it,
wow.
and they could give you things and do things for you, but they couldn't receive money.
Oh
Like they couldn't
wow.
like you could give them gas or you could give them food, but you couldn't
Mm-hmm.
give them money. And they know that without
And they
money,
walked that
even
they walked that 18
they had a car
miles.
that I mean they moved the car, every day at the end of the day or whatever. Like somebody, I don't know how it worked, like the logistics of it, but
Mm-hmm.
they could only make it so far, uh, while like doing their bows or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think like after their bows, like they had to bow all the way like to the next hotel that they were going to stay at,
Yeah.
and then they had to walk back and get the car and drive it to where they had bowed to. Like something
Oh
really
wow.
strong, really hard to do.
Yeah. Mm.
And so, however the logistics worked out, the letters went back and forth between the guru that they were going to see when they got to this place, but it took them 4 or 5 months or 6 months or 8 months or
Yeah.
something to make this pilgrimage.
Mm,
And
mm,
so all these letters, and that's the deepest I've experienced the Buddhist monk energy, was reading all of these letters. And the person, the teacher at the shrine, would occasionally write a letter back and say, "Hey, this is, and this had to have gone back like through the mail. Like they would have had to say, we're going to be here on this day, and you could send mail, and if it's there, I'll see it. Like, so it's all these letters back and forth. And
wow.
it was, they, they were able to make it the whole way without buying anything from money that they had earned by giving their time to money, because they never gave their time to money. They gave their time to people along the way, and
Mm,
along the way, they bowed to get to where they were going. Yet that didn't take their whole day, so they still had time to like serve the community and make friends. And by making friends, they make gas and food happen, and they get along their way.
that's amazing.
But these letters,
That's amazing.
I hope to find the book again, because it was like a self-published book, and I don't know if it's in stores or anything. But
Mm,
I hope to find it again. But the lessons that I took from it were like, the world is gonna provide if you get your vibe and your frequency at a certain level. Like these guys were
yes.
at
Yeah,
such a level of
absolutely.
abundance
Yeah.
that the world found them and gave them what they needed to get along their way. Like they
In
had to
and
live
like
in such
in
an
the
abundant
space
way.
of, and yeah, and to continuously experience that over like 5 6 months, like
Hmm.
um yeah, and it does, and and I think
Oh
that
yeah.
the lesson I'm learning from watching this lady have the opposite experience,
Hmm.
um that the frequent of how important the frequency is, because the frequency can leave you in pain,
We
in
can, yeah,
physical,
we can get way off.
emotional, mental. Like, so she's in every kind of pain you can possibly imagine
Yeah,
because
physical,
of the
emotional.
choices that this man that she was married to lived and died by, and now the choices that she's made, even though he's gone,
Hmm.
and she's still living in that. And
Right.
I'm like, wow, that's
Yes, dude.
really,
Come
really
make
interesting.
broccoli, carrot, chicken broth, and huh? Yeah, come check it out. Hey, sorry,
Soup's ready.
loving on my mom telling her sister.
Yay. You're such a good
I'm not
son.
afraid. I'm not afraid for the world to know I live with my mom.
Ah, please.
It's not a secret. It's all good.
Some people
Um,
would be blessed to live with your mother.
look at that, just like coffee. Let's see if it's any good. Needs a little bit of love here at the end. I bet.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Well, on that note, I'm gonna leave you guys to enjoy your chicken soup,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been
Okay.
fun as always. I am going to, Tuesday. What
Yeah.
time are we growing again?
Um, it would be best for me at like 12 or 12:30 your time.
My time. You got it. I'm setting it up
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Thanks.
I'm going to
Thanks for
end
letting me
broadcast.
mix too.
Oh,
I
it's
enjoyed that.
cool. I'm like,
But yeah,
that's a
the
new, that's a first we've made, because you've done coffee before, but I think that's the first time we've
hmm
done a podcast. You made soup.
I should have had the extra camera with it on the.
Yeah, so you can think it. Yeah, totally. You'll have to set
Thing
that up
on
better next time.
it.
Amazing. Love
I should have
you.
two.
Give my
Have
love to
two.
mama. Here
I
we go
will. Love you too.
again.